Hello and welcome to the free masterclass, Optimize Your Health to Unlock Your True Business Potential. I am so pumped that you're here if you're live or if you're watching the replay. This masterclass is for high achieving entrepreneurs or even really driven, career driven entrepreneurs who are looking to build habits for their personal happiness and stop putting their health on the back burner to success in their business. So I'm going to go ahead and let's share my screen. Let's present. Okay, perfect. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Amazing.
Looks great.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. I was thinking about wearing this green top. I was like, no, I can't do that. My branding clothes. But yeah, so again, so happy you're here. Let's dive in. My intention, let's go back. Oh, okay. So I'll start here. So if you don't know me, my name is Emma. I specialize in helping ambitious business owners and high-level professionals stop sacrificing the way they look and feel for their career or business success. So I believe that you can have it all. I am also on the path to having it all myself. And as you know, us entrepreneurs, we tend to have a very optimistic outlook on life. And for me, I used to be an athlete. I went into personal training and then became a coach online in 2018, where I now work with entrepreneurs and, again, very ambitious people, because I'm also ambitious. I'm also an actor, I have big dreams, and I find that every single time I go back to what I need to do for myself, for my health, to feel my best, I just continually up level and have that idea like I can do whatever I want because I feel good. More good is attracted to me, and I am attracting more good. And it's just, there's ups and downs, of course, but at the end of the day, health is truly wealth, right? And so what you learn from this class is the role that health plays in achieving your business success, career success, practical tips for integrating healthy habits into your busy schedule, and how to regain balance and happiness in your personal and professional life. And so while you're here, right, maybe here are some struggles that you may be facing. Maybe you feel like your business and career is really affecting your relationship to yourself. We know it's so easy just to get super overwhelmed and put ourselves in the back burner, right, to everything that we need to get done. And maybe it is also affecting your creativity and your excitement for growing your business, growing your career. And you just don't feel that proud of yourself in your personal life because you don't have these habits in place, and maybe you don't feel comfortable and confident in your body right now, right? And again, you want to feel proud, you want to feel energized, you want to feel like you got it going on all the time. And let's see, how do I move this thing? And let me just, okay. Sorry, the little thingy-majiggy was in the way. And then if you are also ready to step into the next level version of yourself, but you want to be consistent with your health routines as well, right? As we're growing our business, as we're growing as people, we're almost like more is demanded of us. And so that means when one side of our life is we're being more demanded, we have to find a way to balance that and demand more of ourselves, to raise our standard for living, of how we feel, how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves. And this is all super, super impactful in how you show up for your business, people in your life, how you make them feel. Like, it's all connected, as we know. And for me, discipline is self-care, right? I know Will Smith said this like a few years ago and it really stuck. But it's also about shaping your environment to reach your goals, right? You can only have so much self-discipline and self-control. It's actually looking outside of your environment, looking at your habits to make sure it's on autopilot. What you're thinking, what you're doing is all aligned with where you want to go. And health and well-being is a lifelong journey, right? And I have been in this place multiple times where I've always, put myself in the back burner and then gone back to my routines and feeling like I have to give it all up just to be successful. And I don't believe that because you're ambitious, you have to put yourself down, right? It's actually the opposite. The more you fill your cup up, the better you are. Like the more you're willing to take risks and put yourself out there. And then of course, what's the point of reaching goals if you aren't truly happy with yourself and the life that you're creating, right? Health is wealth. And coming to my own health helped me make more money. Because again, I found I was more confident and started showing up more powerfully online and in my business. And even with my the types of people I started to attract, right? I love thinking you need to become the client that you want to attract. So who are the types of people that you are wanting to attract, right? Obviously, people who are on your level, right? You're going to attract the energy that you put out. And the better I felt, the more drive I had to go after my dreams. And it all started with me taking the leap to prioritize my health, getting over my excuses, kind of getting my out of my own way, and really allowing myself to take up space, play big in this one amazing life. And so again, signs that you were stuck and maybe you need to focus on your healthy lifestyle, right? Is you feel unproductive and rarely in control of your day. The days seem to fly past you. You have low energy, you skip meals, and maybe you end up binging later because you are just so hungry, right? And you're not super happy with the way you look and feel. And maybe your clothes are a little tight right now. And you compare yourself to how fit you used to be. And again, I have been in all of these positions at some point, and it is hard to get yourself out of it sometimes, right? So really focusing, reprioritizing can really help. And so the best way for me to show you how to go from overwhelmed, getting back in shape, not really knowing what to eat or what to schedule, how to schedule your workouts, creating new health habits that stick, and feeling confident to show up as the best version of you in your business and in your personal life, is to share with you the process that I really take my clients through, right? And we are going to touch on all of the things that I want you to learn as well throughout time. So the 5 pillars to optimize your health, to unlock your true business potential in business and in life, are what I call lifestyling jumpstart, creating routines, creating grounding routines, conscious abundance framework. Wow. I think my fingers were going way faster than my brain. So I'm seeing some typos, and that's definitely something that I'm like, oh my God, a typo I find everywhere. But food freedom integration for energy and personalizing strength and toning are the 5 points of emphasis, 5 pillars that we are going to talk about today. And so the first one is lifestyling jumpstart. It's when we analyze your current habits and routines to create a customized plan that fits your needs and goals. We fill the gaps between where you are right now and where you want to be. And I don't know if you have read Atomic Habits or know the book, but it's one of the top books I recommend to my clients. And when I was listening to James Clear, the author, I was like, oh my gosh, this is his very first step was take inventory of your habits. Because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you want to go, right? And we have to bring awareness to the habits that are helpful versus habits that are slowing you down. And then this is also for sustainability, right? You have to identify your baseline, which allows for a manageable and sustainable program leading to lasting results. And so why this is so important, and maybe a lot of other programs skip, is because if you don't, again, you don't know where you are, how can we create a program to get you where you want to go? And this portion too can be a little eye-opening, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I do these things. Or like, why have I done this? Like 80% of our actions are just habits on repeat. And so we really need to stop these patterns in their tracks and learn from them, right? Just view them as an outside observer, like, oh, okay, like I this is where I picked this up maybe, but now I don't need to be doing that anymore. How can I change? And having somebody look outside of having somebody help you look outside and look at the bigger picture is really helpful too, because sometimes our egos get in the way or we skip something, or, we don't want to acknowledge that maybe we're in the place that we are, but so important. And this is super fun too, because you just see where you are. It's like, okay, I'm taking inventory of my life. And like, how often do you actually sit down and do this for yourself? So this is the first step. Second step, absolutely love. I'm probably going to say this about every step, but it's called creating grounding rituals. And so taking the inventory from what you are doing in step one, then we together create successful and impactful habits, what I call grounding rituals, right? Because it's so important how we talk about these things, right? It's not like a check to-do list or I have to do this thing. It's like, no, it's a ritual. I get to do this thing, right? And together too, we're going to formulate ways to manage your stress that's based on scientific research of specific things that you can do depending on what you need. And so really my goal with this is helping you create habits again, but more so for your sustainable lifestyle and for life, right? And this is so different too than just another cookie cutter program, because I'm not like, okay, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and bye. Like, it's really personalized. And from my 5+ years of experience, I can pinpoint exactly, okay, you should probably be doing this when you're feeling this, or on certain days when you're really busy. Like, we have to figure out what that's going to look like for you, because as entrepreneurs, even again, entrepreneurs, like every single day looks really different. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's also kind of nerve-wracking because we have to be on top of our game if we want to continue to grow, right? And so this also helps you step away from the demands of business and focus on your personal well-being, right? Because with a new perspective, a recharge, this leads to increased productivity, creativity, and focus, right? I think it's so easy. And we all know this, that, oh, okay, let me just finish this one thing. Oh, let me just finish this one thing. And then the next thing you know, it's an hour past and you're still sitting on your computer when you should be sleeping, because that also affects the next day, right? And so I'm just obsessed with creating grounding rituals. Again, every single time I feel a little lost in my life, I come back to my habits. I come back to creating this for myself. And I mean, it's just monumental, the effect that it has on my well-being, on my outlook, on how I show up, how I talk to my clients. It's amazing. And then again, helps with an ever-evolving lifestyle. So you get to do what you need based in structure that also creates freedom. When you're traveling, when you have kids and you're having to take them places, or the morning is like, you have only a certain amount of time before you have to start getting them ready, right? Or you're traveling on work, and again, you're not always on your own time. So making sure that is a big part of it, right? Because what's the point of having these rituals if it's not specifically for you? And I have a lot of my clients who are like, okay, well, this part isn't working for me. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, let's change it, right? That's the point. Like, starting somewhere and always adjusting depending on what you need. And it's so fun. Like, it's great. I love this step. And if you have any questions during this, feel free to just unmute yourself too, because I can't see where you guys are. Okay, so step 3 is the conscious abundance framework, which focuses on changing your inner world to change your outer world. And this is really like an ongoing process. So once I get to know you more, we've gone through step 1, we've gone through step 2, we have, again, communicated more frequently, and I'm getting to know you. I see where you're falling short, right? I help you fill in the gaps of where limiting beliefs around fitness, nutrition, or self-worth are showing up in your life, so you can stop self-sabotaging. And this is really important, especially when you're growing in business and you're wanting to get to that next level. Like those thoughts are going to creep in even more. And truly, they're just distractions from what you need to be doing, right? That's what I figured out in myself, in my own clients. And that's why I hate to see people stressing over their food, or again, it's just one, or their workouts are not feeling good, because it's one less thing that you should be having to think about. Right. And so, again, this builds a path forward to understanding everything in your past so then you can create your future. And then it helps to craft an emotionally compelling vision for your ideal and body and life when you know what's holding you back. Helps you stay motivated and focused on your goals, helps you handle the demands, again, of running a business and your daily work to make better choices. And again, this is so, so, so important, because having a framework to, okay, I feel this, now this is what I'm going to do based on step 2 and step 1, like it's all connected. And then, of course, you view getting in shape the same way you view building your business and career. This is one of my favorite ways to kind of compare the two, right? It's like every daily action matters. Just like in business, like you're maybe a few months, it's a little slow, but all of that work that you've done compounds. And the next thing you know, it's booming, right? And it's the same thing with your workouts, same thing with how you treat yourself, how you're eating more consistently and having structure to that. One salad isn't going to change your whole health, like how you feel, your health output. And just like one workout, it isn't going to do the same either. You're not going to have 6-pack abs after one workout, but also missing one workout isn't going to mess you up that much either. So really focusing on the sustainability of everything and not the all or nothing mentality, being really careful of how we're talking to ourselves, changing our inner world as a reflection of what we want our outer world to be. Also love this step, and it's an ongoing process. Food freedom integration is step 4. So personalization is so, so, so important, especially for someone who's really busy, who doesn't have a lot of time to be meal prepping, doesn't have a lot of time to be scrolling through Pinterest and trying to find recipes, or Googling every little thing that you're feeling. And I've heard this the other day, like sometimes I just Google stuff and there's just so much information, like I don't even know where to go, right? So this step helps you teaches you and helps you understand different foods and how they affect your energy levels. So you can create sustainable and balanced relationship with food, but then also utilize it to give you the energy that you need for the days that you need it most, right? And then it's really important too, this is so cool, that just the simple tweaks to nutrition can be implemented in your everyday life to really make the biggest difference that maybe you didn't even realize. Like I also like to think how to eat the same foods you're eating to help you lose weight, to help you gain muscle, that actually kind of got you in this place of not feeling your best in the first place, right? It's not always about reinventing the wheel. It's focusing on the right stuff. And then building freedom into nutrition that leads to lasting results. I don't believe in any specific diet, a restrictive diet, but more so learning about food, learning about what is going to help you feel your best, feel energized, and also passing this information down to your family and people around you. Like it is so incredible and not surprising, right? Like I know for me and even my clients, on the days that I don't eat as well, it's like I'm a little down, I'm a little moody, and it's like, duh, like I haven't eaten anything for three hours and it's like time to eat again, right? So just implementing a really balanced, sustainable way to look at food, giving you structure to follow that's personalized, and using different food groups to optimize your energy so you can show up in the way that you need to, just on autopilot. again, this is something I love talking about, super, super fun for me to explain, and continually work on too. And then the last step is personalized strength and toning program, which again is always tailored to a specific goal and a preference, right? So I usually go with resistance training because it does build muscle, it burns fat, and it helps you move better as we age. And especially in women, we start losing muscle mass in our 30s by like 3 to 8% per decade, which, man, I mean, you're telling me in 30 years, I could have like 30% or 30% less muscle. Like that's kind of scary a little bit. So just continuing to emphasize that fitness is a part of my life. Like this is how I have me time. Again, going back to that conscious abundance framework too, changing the way we think about it all. And then this also provides accountability and progress monitoring because it is super, super tailored to your specific goals. And accessibility is so important too, because I meet you where you are and with whatever equipment that you have access to as well. And even if you're thinking about starting working out on your own, like it's so important to really focus on where you are, right? And especially if you were a former athlete, oh my gosh, I mean, you think you can just pick back up right where you were, like start running, like start lifting, but you're like, oh, okay, my body's not ready for that. So again, going back to the mindset shifts that we would do in step 3, being okay with, all right, this is where I am. This is where I'm starting. No problem. Like I'm okay. Right. And then this structure too helps you create better results in a shorter amount of time. Because again, it's personalized to you. We're going through what we call progressive overload, and it's targeted towards muscle growth, increased efficiency, better tracking, and again, all the habits that help you continue to show up because you're thinking about it differently. You have a plan, and you're looking forward to it. It's you time. It's me time. And so this process is designed specifically for high achievers, business owners, career-driven individuals with really demanding schedules who don't want to waste time Googling solutions. And because again, too much information is out there, and who don't want to slip back into bad habits because there's no accountability, or you want someone to be there helping you and guiding you, and you don't want to work harder, right? You want to work smarter because there's still so many things on your to-do list, and one less thing you have to think about is the best. And I love this quote by our guy, Martin Luther King Jr. Our guy. Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Because entrepreneurs, we're here to change the world. I know it. I just know it because that's how I feel. And when we show up, we're showing up in service online, right? Even in our regular jobs, if you have a 9 to 5 right now, or you're pivoting, you're always showing up in service. And so the last thing to be a true leader, you have to know that your needs are taken care of so you can show up even more powerfully. And I hate seeing people not feeling good, feeling self-conscious, feeling like they're just giving everything without ever refilling their own cup. And it's the same thing with the airlines, right? Put the mask on you before you help somebody else. Like, so imperative. And again, if you really are looking to get to that next level of yourself, taking care of yourself is paramount because you need a new standard to match that new output that you need, again, to serve, right? Looking at the bigger picture.
Emma, it's Meredith. I love that point. And I subscribe to everything you have said. I've been like on the edge of my seat over here. I love this so much.
Yeah.
I think like on that last point too, about like you have to take care of you. I just feel like I would love your take on this. I feel like in the past, like recently, there's this like new movement or like new school of thought where it's all about like you do not you do you like treat yourself, like take the time you need, like just relax, you don't have to, like you deserve this time on the couch. It's like why do the extra workout, like make sure you just relax. And it's so counterintuitive to what we actually need, right? Like sometimes when you're in those funks where you think like, oh, I should just relax because all we want to do is sit on the couch tonight, like sometimes it's like those 10-15 minutes that you spend actually moving and treating yourself that way is actually what you need. Like would love your take on that. I'm sure you talk to people all the time about they're like, well, the best thing for me is just the cheeseburger tonight because that's what I want, because that's what I've earned.
Yes. I love that you brought this up. So kind of going back to discipline as self-love, I feel like this has really stuck with me and how I view teaching people too, and even in my own life. Like there's a time and place to relax, but what is it that you actually need that's going to help you move forward? Or like thinking about an identity shift even too, right? Like what would a healthy person do? What would a successful business owner do? First of all, I feel like they would know the difference, right? Of I'm going to treat myself versus I need to do this as a treat, like exactly what you're thinking. And sometimes I think about this as even like spending money, right? It's like, okay, am I going to buy this thing? Do I actually need it? Or is it actually a treat for me to save my money for the future? So, and again, I feel like when you have the mindset of this is for me, like this time is for me, and then you have a strategy of tracking how often you are, say, working out or how often you're eating a burger, then there are times that you can have a burger, right? It's like, it's not that
I shouldn't have used the burger example. I eat burgers a lot, but I should use the milkshake example or something.
Okay, the milkshake, yeah, because burgers are fine. Yeah, we can eat burgers every day.
That's a bad example.
Yeah, we can eat burgers every day, totally. But you can have a milkshake every day too. That's the point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And like I have never thought of food as like treating myself. That's just me personally, because it's a treat, but it's like you're allowed to have it. It's not about, and here's like one of the mindset shifts that would be an example of like what we go through, right? Is it's not about taking things away from your life. It's about adding more structure. So you can have that milkshake every day if you wanted to, but inherently, because you are doing things for yourself, you're filling your cup up, you naturally don't need the milkshake.
Yeah.
Because, and I hear this a lot, even with like wine and alcohol. One of my clients, we were just talking about this. Her nighttime ritual used to be, oh my gosh, she has her own therapy business. She's also has a nonprofit, like literally crazy. She used to calm down with a glass of wine at night. And I never said, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that. I was like, okay, cool. So just, make sure that we're thinking about that during the day, all these things. But when we actually got her eating correctly, she stopped with the wine, because she's like, I didn't need that to fill me up anymore. Like, I didn't need that to calm me down. Like, I had other grounding rituals that I decided to hold on to, because I figured that the wine really wasn't serving me. But of course, she still has wine with her friends or when she wants it, but she's like replaced that habit with a new one because she wanted a different version of herself. And so going back to this, I know this is really long, but again, I could talk about this stuff all day. So going back to the example you used too, with like, oh, I'm not going to work out, I'm just going to sit on the couch, right? That is a habit, and you've convinced yourself that that's okay. And guess what? It is okay. But if you're doing that every single day and you're not feeling good about it, then you know you need to change. And sometimes that's really hard to get yourself to do it, to, get yourself up. But it's also about changing your environment and changing the cues of what you're seeing, which is like something I love to do and what we do in step 1 and 2 of, okay, we're looking at our habits. Like, okay, let's dive deeper into here. Why are you sitting on the couch every night and, wanting a milkshake? Because you haven't eaten during the day, because you haven't moved. And that's just a pattern that you're in that's making you feel like this is what I need to do because it's more comfortable to stay the same. And I feel good. It makes you feel good in the moment, but not long term.
Right.
I know that was a lot, but does
Right.
that help?
It's just like, it's reframing it. And I think when you talk about, you do it because it feels good, but if you don't feel good all the time, and this is something you want to change, these are, there are steps to take to do it. Part of, like, I think it's so hard to get to the point too, because I've been there where, like, you should, but you just like that someone has to want to change. It's so hard to get people to change, right? So like getting to that point where you do have the awareness that, like, all right, I could keep doing this, but I can't, like, I'm going to have higher standards for myself, and, kind of hitting that point. It's hard to get there.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah.
So I love that. No, I love the great answer. Love it.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. And thanks for bringing that up, because this is definitely in the realm of 100% what we're talking about, right? Perfect. So moving on from that, there's research out of Harvard on leadership that taking less than 1 minute to think about how you're going to show up as a leader each day changes your level of productivity and the impact you make. So isn't that wild? You just sitting down, or again, like having a habit, creating a habit of how am I going to show up today, can change your productivity and how you show up. Just again, having the awareness, having the habit, and the emotion that you bring is contagious to the people around you, right? I have so many people that tell me after 2 weeks of working with me, people show up or like talk to me and like, you seem different. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what have you been doing? Because you're like glowing, right? It's so amazing. I love it. And this all starts with becoming more intentional with the time you do have by prioritizing yourself and your energy in a way that does not take away from what you need to do for your family, what you need to do for your business or your career. It's just how you're creating time with structure to create more freedom and more awareness too. And so why people work with me, right? They save time, and it's specifically customized for you. And it's the most hands-on, done it for you, concierge style program that I have ever seen, and will save you years of research of trial and error, right? And I have many other friends in this, in this industry. And it's just great to be connected with people too, who do similar things, but have different expertises and, people with different issues and things. But I specifically love working with entrepreneurs. And then the structure and accountability, right? If you feel like you're all over the place, you don't really have structure to your day, you want to feel more grounded and have more energy to consistently show up as your authentic self for your business, your clients, your personal life, your family, and your friends. This is the types of the work of the 5 steps that we do together. And then you also want a mentor to keep you moving forward, right? What happens when you do lose that first 10 pounds? It's like, okay, now what? Always are constantly adjusting to your life and what's happening to your life, because health needs to be embedded, right? It's a part of who you are. It makes you who you are in a way too. And so if you did connect with anything that you learned today and you're ready to truly take yourself and your health seriously, I would love to book a no pressure blueprint call. And I'm going to drop a link in the chat after this, and you can choose that's for my calendar, and you can choose a time that works for you. And step 2 is that we just get on the call. We get to know each other. I ask you questions about where you've been, maybe your history with trying to get in better shape, get to feeling better in your body and more confident. And so again, I can better understand what you need and if I'm the coach for you. And if and yeah, so that's step 2. And so I just want to thank you for spending your time with me. I love this little graphic, always rooting for you. I truly am, and feel like it's my way to, like, I wish I could do everything, right? I feel like that's what ambitious people are like. But a way that I can give back is helping people feel good about themselves, so they are not worrying about things that they shouldn't have to be worrying about, like feeling good, feeling more structured, so they can go out and make the change that they want to make in the world with their business and just the people that they are, as we constantly are evolving and growing as humans. So that is my presentation.
Awesome. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite way to exercise?
It has evolved during over the years. So I love a combination of really just movement and strength building, I would say. So I love going to the gym and lifting weights. And then I also love doing yoga. I love walking. So I'm at a phase right now where I'm not necessarily like, I want to have 6-pack abs, or like, I don't necessarily have a goal, but I have more of a feeling goal of, I want to feel really good. And I also want to love the way that I look, right? I feel like there's a lot of shame around the internet these days of wanting to lose weight or wanting to look good, right? But it's all about you looking good in your own body for what you feel is good for you, not, what we see in the media and all these bitty models.
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's fine if you're itty bitty, right? Like everybody has to love their own personal body, because you can never have someone else's body. Like, that's just so silly, right?
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, as also an ex former athlete, though you're still an athlete, so
Absolutely.
you don't have to say former, say still current athlete.
Yeah.
But I do that all the time. Like when I was in my prime, we used to have to, I'm sure you felt the same way with lacrosse, because field hockey was the same. We had to run so much, right? Like running in the off season and like tracking our times. The last day I played field hockey, I was like sad because I remember my last game. But then I remember thinking, I never have to run again. Like it being like such a relief for me. And then it took me a couple of years. And then I ran a marathon because I was like joining a group that was like raising money. And I was like, if I had told myself when I was in college that I would run 26 miles in a row, would have laughed at myself. But like, and now I don't think I would ever do it again. But I've like gone through various, like being like really into like one or two things, but now I feel very similar to you, like whatever just makes me feel good and active, I am doing with like no pressure. If I've been very into just walking on my Peloton tread, like the hikes and the walks. And actually you had mentioned on that when you were chatting about the I think it was like slide 2 or point 3, or you talked about strength toning, but you mentioned progressive overload. It's only the second time I've ever heard that term, but it's been in the past 24 hours.
Wow.
So there's like a Peloton instructor who just said that was the method she was using for this like core class that she was doing. So that, like, I'm very curious about that. I want to go learn more about progressive overloads now, since it's crossed my path twice in 24 hours.
Yeah, seriously. So basically okay, so 2 things. You asked me like how I like to work out. I'm still pushing myself in a way, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm working on my pull-ups, and I'm the same way as you. It's like, I used to be able to do all these, right? And it's like, well, whatever, putting that aside. But at some point, you just have to step up. You have to push yourself, right? To keep going. It's not like you're going to go on stage and try to be a bikini model by any means, but you personally are like pushing yourself, right? It's the same thing like you
Right.
you all of a sudden were like, I'm gonna run a marathon, right? Because there's intrinsic motivation, which is the best way, right? So what progressive overload is, slowly as you gain more muscle, you again have to pump it up. So you slowly progress the weight you're doing over time and the volume. And volume meaning, say you're doing like 2 sets of 10. Again, how long can you stay at that threshold, right? You need to step it up to maybe 3 sets of 8. So that's just slowly growing over time. And then there's different ways to change up how you're doing things, right? Instead of 3 sets of 8, maybe you're bumping up in weight, you're doing less reps, but you're doing more sets. So just always like slowly moving up. That's really what progressive overload is. Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so do you have any other questions or anything coming up for you?
Well, I'm ready to make a pivot at some point. So for me, I feel like I'm in a good spot health wise. Like something that I'm very focused in my whole family. Everyone's really good at it. I'm in like this mental place where I got to figure out that piece of it right now, where like mentally I need to treat myself the same way I treat myself physically and step up and like really step up. So that's what, when I, kind of, as you were talking, I was reading through all your points. I was like thinking in my head, like mentally, like, am I doing all of that? Like mentally, I'm a mess. And a lot of that has to do with just some of the same things. Like I could also, chat with someone and be like, just get up at 5 a.m., like build these habits, like all those things. Why can't I do the same thing, for my mental health too? It's very, I'm going to be thinking about this a lot.
Yeah, I can see that. No, but it sucks because, especially as a former athlete, you think that you should know how to do these things, or, why can't I do it myself? Right. And we've always had a coach. We've always had somebody helping you along, and asking for help is really tough, but it's self-love, right? It's you being like, I can't do this on my own. I need help. Or it's okay that I don't know all these things. Like, look at all the things that I do know. I mean, and even for myself, like I've had my personal health coaches too, because again, high performers don't take anything for granted. Like, I need help with this. This is what I need to do. I just got to get over it and do it. And I've learned so much being coached. You know what I mean? Like being on that other side is so powerful. And a lot of things, it's so silly and funny, but things that you do for other people, you just can't do for yourself for whatever reason.
Well, it makes you a better coach. And actually this is so, just like a perfect analogy, but I think I've told you this over like how all the channels that we're chatting over, but my kids are lacrosse players now, and one of their coaches was invited to go to a college and coach other coaches, high school and even some college lacrosse coaches, but they wanted to learn from her and how she ran drills and how she programmed her offense. And she invited her girls to go to the clinic with her so she could use them to do the demos. And, my Lulu, my littlest, goes, Coach Sam is coaching other coaches how to coach. And I go, yeah. And then I realized what a great example for my girls to see that even coaches need coaches. And that like even when you're a coach, or even when they think Sam is like the greatest in the whole world, there's nothing she could possibly be missing about lacrosse, right? But like everyone still you can still always be learning. And I just love that. And I was like thinking about that later. I was like, Sam just did a great thing for all those kids to show them that like even coaches are still trying to learn and coach. So.
Yep. I mean, we think of like Tony Robbins, right? Like he has a coach.
Yeah. Yep.
He's fucking Tony Robbins. Excuse my language, but
you know? Nope. It's that's great. All good stuff. This was so great. You have so much energy and it's infectious.
Oh my gosh. Oh, well, thank you so much for saying that. I agree. The same for you. When I I don't go on Instagram as much because I'm trying to limit myself. But when I saw your
Smart.
comments, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I looked at your page, like, oh my God, who
Yeah.
am I even talking to right now? This is insane. Like,
Nope.
it's amazing.
Lots of good stuff. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to book
Awesome.
a call.
Well,
Do you want to book a call to go to just talk?
yeah, I would love to.
Great. Let me put in the chat. I didn't have it up. I didn't have it ready. So let me copy it.
Um,
Add events.
I'm on my phone, so I will
And I'm going to say goodbye officially, or I'm just going to stop the recording.
yeah.
But thank you so much for watching the recording. I'm going to drop the chat with the replay. So if you, again, loved anything that you saw and you are curious and you're ready to up level and you want help, you don't want to waste time and just feel energized by everything that I just talked about, book a call. What do you have to lose? And I will talk to you later.